Mishawaka Common Council for January 5th, 2026 will please come to order. Please place all electronic devices on mute, remove hats, and please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Hazen,
Here.
Mrs. Volker,
Here.
Mr. Carroll,
Here.
Mr. Benicki,
Here.
Mr. Emmons,
Here.
Ms. Hahn,
Here.
Mr. Mamalenti,
Here.
Mr. Violi,
Here.
Mr. Hicksonball.
Here.
I would like to open the floor for nominations for President of the Council for 2026. Mr. Mamalenti.
Thank you very much. I would like to nominate Mr. Greg Hicksonball to serve as the council president for 2026.
Second.
Are there any more nominations? I will now entertain a motion to close nominations.
So moved. Second.
All those in favor of closing nominations signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll for nomination of Mr. Hicksonball for council president?
Ms. Hazen,
Yes.
Mrs. Volker,
Yes.
Mr. Carroll,
Yes.
Mr. Benicki,
Yes.
Mr. Emmons,
Yes.
Ms. Hahn,
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti,
Yes.
Mr. Violi,
Yes.
Mr. Hicksonball.
Yes.
Motion carries by a 9-0 vote. I'd like to congratulate Mr. Hicksonball.
Welcome back.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, my friends. I look forward to continuing to work with all of you as well as the administration throughout the coming year. And with that, at this time, I would open the floor for nominations for the position of Vice President of the Council for 2026.
Mr. President, I'd like to place in nomination for Mr. Ron Benicki as Vice President.
Second.
Thank you. Are there any other nominations? Then hearing none, I will now entertain a motion to close nominations.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded. Close nominations on the position of Vice President for 2023. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Then, in the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. And at this time, Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council on the nomination of Mr. Benicki for Council Vice President?
Mrs. Hazen?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Ms. Hahn?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Violi?
Yes.
Mr. Hicksonball?
Yes.
9-0 is the vote for Mr. Benicki.
Thank you all.
Congratulations, Mr. Benicki.
Welcome back.
Thank you. Before we proceed further, I do want to welcome all of you who are in attendance. We also want to welcome all of those members of the public who are participating remotely. Members of the public participating remotely are asked to place their microphone on mute during the meeting with the exception of any public hearing. At the appropriate point in the meeting, I will invite the public to unmute their microphone for purposes of submitting such comments as they may wish to make, one person at a time. All persons wishing to make public comments will be asked to first state their name and address for the record, and after completing the comment, members of the public are once again asked to place their microphone on mute, and we thank all of you for your cooperation with us this evening. With that, we will move into approval of the minutes of our regular meeting of December 15th, 2025. Are there any additions or corrections? Then hearing none, the minutes will stand approved as received from the clerk's office. Petitions, communications, remonstrance, and memorial.
Yes, Mr. President, we have appeal number 2025-42 to the honorable members of the Common Council, City of Mishawaka, Indiana. This is a use variance to allow a second-floor residential unit in the commercial building occupied Josephini Photography at 340 West Cleveland Road. The petition is signed by Mark Shea.
Thank you. This evening, we have no report of any special committee, so we'll move into ordinances on first reading.
Proposed ordinance number 2026-01, an ordinance amending ordinance 5951, fixing the salaries of all sworn police employees of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, for the year beginning January 1st, 2026.
Proposed ordinance 2026-01 will be assigned to the Budget and Finance Committee.
Proposed ordinance number 2026-02, an ordinance approving the collective bargaining agreement between the City of Mishawaka and the Mishawaka Fraternal Order of Police, Lodge 91. This is a contract for 1 year, and it's being requested for second reading.
Thank you. At this time, the chair would entertain a motion to suspend our regular council rules and hold first and second reading on proposed ordinance 2026-02 this evening.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to waive our regular council rules and hold first and second reading on proposed ordinance 2026-02 this evening. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Then hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? In the opinion of the chair, the matter has passed unanimously, or the motion has passed unanimously. So with that, we'll move into second reading and public hearing on proposed ordinance 2026-02. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, if you would, please come forward to the podium.
Mr. President, council members, Alex Arndt, Police Chief. I would like to speak in favor of you accepting the contract as submitted. Went through agreement with the Fraternal Order of Police to come to agreement on accepting drone operator as a specialty. Some language on light duty and language on how on-call overtime will be handled in the Detective Bureau, as well as how training for voluntary events would be handled. And lastly, how buyout of random personal days would be handled at the end of the year so that it is reflected in the final payroll as opposed to the current language of December 31st. Those are the changes that were discussed with the FOP and agreed upon, and I'd ask that you accept the contract as submitted.
Thank you. Any questions for Chief Arndt? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone physically present this evening who wishes to speak in favor? If you would, please come forward to the podium.
Good evening, Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen of the City Council, Mayor Wood, Chief Arndt. My name is Rich Freeman. I am the president of FOP Lodge 91, and I too am speaking in favor of the contract agreement. Just real quick, I'd like to say that there's several things that have taken place at the end of the year. I just want to thank everybody for the process. There's a lot of difficult things on the docket, and I appreciate the discussion that has taken place, and there's many things that are going to continue to take place. And so I appreciate the willingness and the process moving forward. With that, I know we had many issues in regards to training and equipment. And if you didn't notice, the last 2 weeks, we had some incidences. And again, I'd like to thank first and foremost God. These are ongoing instances. I'm not going to discuss any details, but they were both nothing short of a miracle. They say that in a foxhole, you can never find an atheist, okay? And I assume, like everybody else in this room, I am also a sinner, and therefore I do not want to depend on divine intervention as a tactic. The outcomes of both these incidences were not possible without the training and equipment that have been recently provided to the department. And so, again, I thank everyone that was part of that process. And moving forward, I hope that that's also in consideration with the budgetary restraints that we may or may not be looking for or towards. So, again, thank you, and I'm in favor of this. I just wanted to say those couple things. So,
Thank you. Any questions for President Freeman? Mr. Mammolati.
Thank you, Mr. President. Not a question, but just wanted to take this opportunity to express my extreme thanks for you and all the other officers and the administration for the crazy couple weeks that you just described. I know it was handled perfectly, and you guys will be in my continued thoughts and prayers throughout this lingering process. And I know healing will need to be taking place, and thank you for all you guys did for the last couple weeks and what you continue to do on a daily basis. So thank you.
appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions for President Freeman? Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor? If so, please come forward. Then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone with us this evening who wishes to speak in opposition? Please come forward. And then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Are there any council members who wish to speak? Let me then echo Mr. Mammolati's comments. I'm always proud of the service that the Mishawaka Police Department provides to the city of Mishawaka. On a smaller level, I'm also proud of the collaborative spirit that President Freeman referenced with regard to how we bargain together. We clearly do not always agree, nor will we ever always agree, but we work through it. It's a very professional process, and I appreciate the role that not only the FOP plays, but that the administration plays. Chief Arndt and Chief Nowacki, Mrs. McGuire, Mr. Rogaman. I think at least one of them, think Becky McGuire when I say this, doesn't enjoy the process as much as some of the rest of us do, but she's always a valuable participant, and we couldn't come to an agreement without the role that she plays. I also want to acknowledge the time that my colleagues on the council spent with regard to this process. Not to speak for them, but I think that they also echo the sentiment that we appreciate the collaborative nature. So I appreciate the leadership of Mr. Mammolati as the chair of the Public Health and Safety Committee, as well as the roles that Mr. Violi and Ms. Hahn played with regard to these negotiations. And then last but not least, I want to acknowledge the continuing commitment that the administration has shown to us dealing with these issues, both financial and operational in nature, as a combined bargaining team. I continue to believe that that's in the best interest of the community as well as the police department, and it leads to the best possible outcome that we can have. So thank you for that spirit of collaboration. As President Freeman touched on, and technically we have the ordinance setting the salary and compensatory pieces on first reading only this evening. But since we're talking about these issues in passing, it was a challenging bargain. And as I've said before, and I suspect you will hear me say again, it is only because of decisions that have made by people outside of the city of Mishawaka that we're facing the financial challenges that we are. And we are unable to do all that we want to do, not only at the bargaining table, but in particular at the bargaining table, with continuing to make sure that we have the best paid, best trained, best qualified officers that we can possibly put on the street every day. we're doing a great job, I believe, under difficult circumstances. But the challenges are not being made any easier by our friends in Indianapolis. I hold out a little hope that out of this session, we'll start to see some relief that will allow us to be able to make good decisions on the local level with regard to how we provide services to our community. But until we are given some more latitude from Indianapolis, we'll continue to have to try to find ways to collaborate and partner with the FOP, the administration, and the council to try to identify those ways that we can continue to provide the best public safety services to the community. So thank you again for everybody's involvement in that. And with that, if there are no other questions, I will call for the questions.
Question?
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. Hazen?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Mr. Beninky?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Ms. Han?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Violi?
Yes.
Mr. Hicksonball?
Yes.
Proposed ordinance passes 9-0.
Thank you. This evening, we have no resolutions, so we'll move into ordinances on second reading.
Proposed ordinance number 2025-46, an ordinance amending Chapter 137 of the Municipal Code of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, as from time to time amended, commonly known as the zoning ordinance of 1966 of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana. This is to rezone from R1 to R2 two-family residential to match existing use at 902 and 902.5 South Main Street.
Thank you. May we have the committee report, please?
Yes, Mr. President. To the members of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, your Committee on Land Use Planning, to whom was referred the matter of proposed ordinance number 2025-46, report that they have examined said matter and that in their opinion should be presented to the council as a whole. This is signed by members present, and I move for its acceptance.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to approve the committee reports. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Then hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. With that, we will now move into second reading and public hearing on proposed ordinance 2025-46. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, if you would, please come forward to the podium.
Good evening. My name is Julie Circle with Keller Williams Realty. I'm representing the property owners, Gwen and Ed Sauceda, of this 902 and 902.5. I would like to ask that we do change the zoning on this property. This came up through the property being under contract for sale. The property is being sold to a buyer who wants to use it as an investment property. She's a local buyer. In order to do so, she needs to have a loan. And in order to have a loan, she needs it to be zoned correctly so that if the house should go down by whatever reason, fire or tornado or whatever, it would be able to be put back as a two-family home. Currently, it can't as its current zoning. But I think that, we talked about this at the planning and zoning hearing, and I have noticed a few other things that I wanted to mention about this, that I really believe zoning this house as R2 would raise the caliber of future buyers in the area, with the ability for a buyer to purchase the home as an investment property with a lender. A larger percentage of homes, if they were treated this way, would carry home insurance. This is often not the case for properties that are purchased as a cash sale. So it's a win-win for neighborhoods when higher quality buyers are brought in. The home did have an appraisal, and it does appraise. It is valued at $173,900. That's a large chunk for somebody to buy as a cash buy, and currently that's really the only way this home could be sold. I also believe that this does go along with the Mishawaka 2000 Comprehensive Plan, recommending the land use of the subject property as low-density residential. This property has been a duplex since 1952 without incident, and I do have a letter from code enforcement showing no issues, no violations.
Thank you. Any questions from the council?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Thank you. Is the prospective buyer local?
Yes.
Okay, so is it a single person or is it a group?
It's a single person. This is her first investment property. She's a nurse, and she would like to begin buying investment properties.
Okay, when you say, is she local within Mishawaka or?
She lives in
surrounding area?
Granger, sir.
Pardon?
She lives in Granger.
Okay. Okay. Another question. I've got a couple questions.
Okay.
Okay. Second question is, you stated that it's been R1 since 1952, correct?
I stated it's been a duplex since
Duplex, okay.
1952.
Okay. Okay. So it's been under R1 since 1952? Correct.
Well, longer than that.
Okay. Okay. Is there a reason why it's never been changed?
It has been brought up before twice, and through purchase agreements that they needed this change. I don't know those persons' reasons why they didn't pursue it. 20, 30 years ago, you could buy a house for cash for a lot less money than you can now. And that's when those prior requests did come up. They are documented in the files. I believe there was one in 1976 and one in 1992, when house prices for cash were running $30,000. They don't, this one's not valued at that.
So if there was no prospective buyer for this property, it would stay as an R1 in violation?
It's a non-conforming use.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
I understand that, but
Yeah.
the only reason you're asking for it to be changed from R1 to R2 is so somebody can, person can sell it and somebody can buy it.
Well, yes.
Thank you. I know the Plan Commission and the Planning Department gave the recommendation that it be approved, and there were some questions that I had at the Planning Commission meeting, and as you know, it didn't pass favorably. It came to the council as
It had no recommendation.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are a couple other concerns that I have a problem with, but I'm going to let somebody else address those. And I appreciate your answers and appreciate you coming.
You're welcome, sir. You did have a question for me that day, and I do have that answer to that question if you are interested.
Okay, please do.
You mentioned some boards lying on the sidewalk
Yes.
in the pictures. Upon further examination, those pictures were done at the time the handicapped ramp was put in 3 years ago. And those boards, I do have new pictures, those boards are bolted into the ground to create a ramp so that the wheelchair can actually reach the property or reach the car, so the person in the wheelchair can get into a car. They're permanent. The company that installed that ramp is actually a local charitable organization called SAWS, which is Servants at Work, Inc., to the glory of God. They actually do handicap ramps for folks, and they do them to the specifications.
Okay, appreciate that. And I think I asked this question during the Plan Commission. The person that is handicapped, how old is that person?
In her 70s.
70, and it is a lady, I remember that.
yeah.
Okay. And the person that's on the upstairs, that is a person that's just elderly, correct?
That's a young person.
A
that
young
lives up-
person?
Uh-huh.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for making that announcement and also bringing to my attention the
Okay.
question that I asked before.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Emmons. Ms. Hahn?
Hi, thank you for coming tonight. A few questions that just popped up listening to Mr. Emmons here. You mentioned there's 2 tenants that are already in leases at this building. How long are those leases for each one of those tenants?
The tenants have been there so long that their leases have turned to month. The one upstairs has been there 3 years. So they're not actually a lease anymore. They're just a month-to-month situation through a property management company. The tenant downstairs, she's been there 14 years. However, at Christmas, she was hospitalized. She's severely ill, and we don't think that she's going to be able to continue to be a tenant.
You also mentioned you're working on behalf of this local investor, and this is her first investment property. And then I also heard you just say that there is a property management company that's handling the leases. So as she moves forward with this purchase, will you be assisting her in finding new tenants? And if so, do you know any of the process she will be using as far as doing background checks, credit checks, and vetting possible tenants for this property?
Good questions, thank you. I represent the seller, and the seller is the one that is paying a property management company and has been for the last 3 years, the time that they've owned this property. So that property management company is Access Properties here in our area, and they are charged with the responsibility of finding a tenant and doing the background checks and so on that you mentioned. The buyer, she has a different realtor who represents her and her interests, so that other realtor would help her with her concerns.
Okay. And you also mentioned that the tenant who's on the lower level that is handicapped is in the hospital. Is that handicap ramp, to your knowledge, going to stay permanently, whether the person living on that lower level is handicapped or not, as kind of a benefit to a person who may
I think
need
that
it?
would be up to the buyer if she wants to take it down or not.
Okay.
If the property's not rezoned, we won't have a buyer anymore. So then it would be up to my seller to make that decision. Generally speaking, when a property has a handicap ramp, you leave it on there till somebody says they don't want it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Other questions? Ms. Volker?
Thank you. Just a quick follow-up. Hi.
Hi.
Happy New Year.
Thank you.
Just a quick follow-up on the property management company. You're representing the seller, so you have no idea whether the proposed buyer would work with a property management company or would...
She has already signed up and asked to continue with the same property management company. Unfortunately, this situation has taken us a lot longer than we thought with a regular sale, and this sale's a little out of the box. She said, well, let me just do everything I can, so it's all in place.
Okay. All right.
So,
Thank you for confirming that.
Thank you. Mr. Benicki?
Thank you. A couple things. First of all, when you say high-quality owner, when I think of that, I think of owner-occupied. Somebody that lives there, somebody that takes care of the grass, somebody that makes sure that things are done on a daily basis, somebody that's got skin in the game every day. So when we look at different things, you may have great renters today. We don't know who's moving in tomorrow.
It has been rented since 1952. This person that's there now has been living there for 14 years successfully. It's a very well-maintained property.
Okay.
Did I say high-quality owner?
Yeah, you did.
Okay.
I wrote it down. Anyway, now this, the rent, and I don't know that you can even speak to this, with the new owners, will they be taking subsidized type renters into this property?
They currently are not. So I can't speak for the buyer, what she intends to do, although she wanted to buy this property because it had good renters already in it. No need to change things.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Other questions from the council? Mr. Violi?
Thank you, Mr. President. I understand that for it to be R2, there should be 2 parking spots per tenant. And
Right,
that would be-
right.
that
So a
means
total of 4. Yeah.
But from what I read in the report, there's only 2 existing ones. And what's the plan
Okay.
by the buyer to make that follow code or whatever that ordinance or whatever that is?
Thank you for the question. Actually, there are currently 3. There's a single-family car garage and a 47-foot long driveway, so that would count as 3 parking spaces. I did propose at the last meeting, there's also a 14 by 21 concrete patio that adjoins the current driveway. There's a 9-foot strip of grass in between those two pieces of concrete. And the 14 by 21 patio is encased by a chain link fence. What I propose is that we simply gravel or concrete the 9-inch strip in between the two and remove at least one side of the chain link fence, and then that actually would afford 5 parking spaces.
Still sounds like it's going to be kind of tight.
It doesn't feel tight when I'm there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Other questions? Mr. Emmons?
Thank you, Mr. President. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Prince or anybody else, when you say there's a strip between the concrete and the patio, okay, and you said gravel, I don't think that is up to code.
Okay, so then we would do concrete
Okay.
or pavers, whatever
It has to be a
works.
solid surface,
Yes, yes, sir.
and the gravel or stone.
It's just a small area.
I know it, but
Yeah.
because I don't think you park cars on a surface that's not hard surface. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Other questions? Then, ma'am, let me follow up on a couple of the questions that my colleagues asked. First of all, thank you for your patience with us as we look into this further. I will tell you that from my perspective, I'm inclined to support this, particularly because of the historical use that's been documented since 1952. My guess would be, going back to Mr. Emmons' question, that when it was built in 1915, it was, appropriately zoned, if in fact there was a zoning code in place in 1915, and I don't know. But clearly, this has been used as a duplex since 1952, at least.
At least.
There is at least one other property that's being taxed as a duplex in the vicinity, so I'm inclined to support it. The parking is an issue for me, and I appreciate what you just shared with regard to the plan, and that's reflected in the staff report as well. What I don't recall in my time on this council is approving a rezoning without a non-conforming issue, such as the lack of the parking place, being dealt with under a use variance, or a condition or the matter being resolved by the petitioner prior to coming to us and asking us for the zoning to be approved. So I'm hoping that you can provide some additional details that would at least make me feel more comfortable in approving this with regard to timeline and whether, first of all, I will say for the record that anything that you do would have to be consistent with our general city ordinances. I'm sure you would agree with that, correct?
Exactly, sir.
All right. And when you indicate that there will be some improvements made to that strip of property, have you been authorized by your clients to make that commitment?
Yes, sir. I have, and I have also spoken with a contractor about that, and I have one waiting in the wings to do the work.
Okay. Has the contractor provided you with any timeline with respect to when that project would be completed?
We are open to what Mishawaka would require on that, but given that we don't get any more snow, it could be done within 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's a simple process.
And I appreciate that. I don't know that we have a specific timeline that we require, other than everybody's supposed to
Get it
comply with
done.
our ordinances and have it done already. So
Yeah.
I don't want to engage in a circular discussion here, but I continue to struggle with the concept of approving this without there being an enforceable commitment on the part of your clients to do what it is that you're indicating to us this evening that they're going to do. I take what you say at face value, but unless there's an enforceable component of this, I struggle with how I'm going to get to a yes vote from my perspective.
I think I know how to heal that problem. So because there's a lender involved, the lender's very interested in what's going on here tonight. She's not going to grant this loan without Mishawaka saying, yes, this is all fine, this is all done. So, you know, I understand what you're saying. Are we going to just say we're going to do it and then not do it because there's no process that follows up on that? But the lender will. She's not going to grant the loan if.
And that's a fair point, but people don't elect us to outsource our responsibilities to the lender.
Yeah.
People elect us and charge us with the responsibility to make sure that the developments that are presented to us are responsible and in compliance with our city code. So again, I appreciate what you're sharing, but I struggle with it. If you hold tight for a minute, I'm going to pose a question to our legal counsel. Counselor, would you see any legal impediment to this ordinance being approved subject to a condition that the fourth parking space be constructed within 90 days?
Assuming the petitioner consents to that request, I would say yes, you could do that. Of course, assuming they comply with the city ordinance related to whatever parking requirements are.
Thank you, I appreciate that. So again, between two lawyers, our suggestion is that there be some condition built in here, which Indiana law allows us to embed in these type of ordinances, that take what you're sharing with us, that again, I take at face value, and take it out of the realm of a promise to a binding commitment, that if it isn't kept, then the zoning reverts back to R1.
Right.
And becomes problematic, and then is dealt with accordingly. So going back to what you shared earlier, 3 or 4 weeks. Is that your understanding of what the contractor has to say?
Honestly, sir, the contractor told me he could have it in 2 days. I'm not a contractor, and my experience with contractors is that sometimes they give you a little quicker estimate than that they're actually going to do. You know, it depends upon what work they already have. When you actually come to their phone and say, can you go ahead and do this job for me? It's just, I have the contractor ready. It's a simple process. He said he could do it right away. The 90 days is generous. That I do believe that snow could stop him. I do. If the 9-inch strip of grass is frozen and he can't dig it out to get the pavers in there, then that's going to stop him.
And I appreciate that, and agree with, we've had similar experiences with contractors, so we're on the same page. But again, I struggle with the non-enforceability of what you're sharing, but this, you know, no disrespect intended. And my personal preference would be for us to entertain a motion to postpone this until you can provide us with a firmer deadline on the part of your contractor with regard to when this would be completed, that we then could embed in the ordinance. But I'll ask a question first before I speak on that any further. Do you have a closing scheduled for this already?
Closing passed in November. We are, the way the contract was written, it was actually written to say within 7 days of November 14th or within 7 days of clear to close. We don't have clear to close because we can't run the lending without it being zoned R2. So that within 7 days of clear to close leaves an open door. And it was written that way on purpose. Actually, realtors do a lot of closing dates that way in case something happens. I do think we will lose our buyer. She has waited and waited. The property went on the market in July. We went under contract in September. You know, there are a lot of folks that have put a lot of work into this, the lender, the buyer, the other realtor, myself, the sellers, the property management company. We had full inspections on the house. There were some things that need repaired. We did complete full repairs, as you would do in any real estate sale. I think we're getting away a little bit from a point that I really wanted to make. I feel very strongly about this, that to continue to have R1 homes that are allowed to be duplexes with non-conforming use that allows them to happen that way. And then when they, at some point in time, need to sell, this is going to happen to other folks. The property value is low when you have to have a cash buyer. The cash buyers just don't pay very much. Cash buyers traditionally don't put home insurance on properties. This to me is the best move for Mishawaka to make, is to say, yes, we would make this R2 when somebody asks, as long as everything else lines up, because now this property gets the full value, the market value that it truly deserves. It gets somebody who wants to buy it, who cares about it, who wants to protect their $173,000 that they put into that property, giving us a higher caliber of rental properties in the end. And let's face it, many, many of them in there are duplexes and rental properties. They just are. I would go for a lender purchase on a property any day before a cash purchase as far as value for the community.
And I can appreciate your points, although I don't feel as though either myself or my colleagues need further guidance on what's in the best interest of our community. I think that we have always looked out for the best interest of the community in every one of these matters that has come before us. And in my almost 20 years of sitting in a seat on this dais, it's been my long experience that unless we take the opportunity when these legal non-conforming uses come to us for a rezoning to have any additional areas of non-compliance addressed, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity once it's rezoned, and if the people don't comply, then we don't have any enforcement mechanism.
Yeah, I can see
So that's
that.
my concern. I'm going to go back and repeat what I said earlier. I'm inclined to support this, but I'm not doing it on faith. I'm not doing it, as much as I respect what you've shared with us, that's not within my understanding of my obligation as an elected official to act in that capacity.
I really wish we had gone ahead and done it. When we brought this parking space up at the last hearing, there was only one comment from the panel, and that person said, I don't think that could be used as a parking space.
Hindsight's always 20/20, but I agree with you.
Yeah.
If we, in a perfect world, it would have been taken care of by now, but it has not been.
Yeah.
So I would feel bad about you losing your buyer, but I don't feel bad about asking to have our ordinances complied with as part of the approval of this type of request. So with all due respect to you and your clients, speaking only for myself, and my colleagues may not agree, my preference would be to postpone this until our next regularly scheduled council meeting, which I think you're going to hear later on in the meeting would be January 26th of this year. And I'm sorry that if that's going to cause any problems, but from my perspective, you're already way past your November 14th deadline, and the problem hasn't been addressed. So that's my perspective, but the good news from your perspective is that I can't make the motion, somebody else would have to make it. I'm going to support it if somebody does. But one of my colleagues would have to make that motion to postpone this until January, our next regularly scheduled council meeting. But I do appreciate your patience with me and the information that you shared. And again, I take at face value the commitments that you're making. We're just not in a face value business. Okay?
Could I ask one other thing?
Please.
Since I came to the last council meeting in December, we've had snow that entire time. There isn't any way that we could have done this in between then and now. I freely admit I didn't attempt to try to do it before this meeting. I didn't realize the significance of that, but to be quite honest, sir, I couldn't have done it.
Understood. That's where I think it would be helpful for you to have a conversation with your contractor so that if 90 days is a reasonable period, that's a condition that we could build into the approval. If 45 days isn't a reasonable period, the shorter the better. If it's going to be 6 months, I think that I would suspect that'd be problematic. But a reasonable time period that we could build in as a condition of approval that would allow us to have some enforceability with regard to the follow-through on this point, I think would be important and potentially beneficial to you and your client. But again, there is an emotion on the floor, and there may not be one, but that's my own thought on the subject.
I appreciate that.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you again. Any other questions for this lady? Mr.
Thank you, Mr.
Mammolati?
President. Just to make sure I'm thinking on the right page here, did you say this was a cash purchase or a lender?
Lender.
Lender, it is a lender, okay. And just to be clear again, you don't feel confident or you don't feel that you can make the commitment that this will be completed within the 90 days?
I do feel I could make that commitment within 90 days. I honestly feel like I could make that commitment within 30 days as long as there were no snow during that time.
I guess maybe let me rephrase that. Would you agree to the 90 days, having that completed within the 90 days?
Yes.
The contingency that's.
Yes,
that we're
I would agree to
recommending?
that. I'm sure within 90 days, there's a window where there's no snow.
And then, Mr. President, what would happen if we embedded that contingency in and then it was not held up?
I have a thought, but I'll ask Mr. Triple to chime in.
I thought you would.
Mr. Triple, what would be the impact, if in fact we approve this subject to a condition related to the improvements on the parking spot with a 90-day deadline, what would be the legal effect of noncompliance with that deadline?
Rescission provision in that ordinance.
So then, another way of stating that, would the zoning revert back to R1 at that point in time?
Contingent upon the condition, yes.
Mr. Mammolati, does that clear it up for you, that the approval would become effective immediately from R1 to R2? But if in fact that 90-day condition wasn't complied with, then at that point in time, the zoning would revert back to R1, which potentially could cause problems with the financing.
Right, okay. When is the expected new closing date?
That was to be determined after tonight's meeting. We hoped to close this week, but what I could see happening is this week, because the snow is melting, we can get in there, do the parking space thing. The lender, with the documentation you're talking about here with the precision built into the approval, the lender will probably say, once I see the parking space there and the city, and we fulfilled what the city wants, then I'll be able to move ahead. So in that case, I would say parking space handled this week, closing next week.
I think with that being said, that gives the city a protection that it could go back. That makes me feel a little bit better, so I'll close my statements. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions, Mr. Carroll?
Thank you, Mr. President. Just real quick again, so that my head's on straight. This is the only non-compliance issue that we have other than just the general non-conforming use? There weren't any others?
That's the only one that I'm aware of.
That's all I needed. Thank you.
Mr. Benicki?
Thank you. I would feel so much better if the purchaser were here and be able to commit to some of these things versus the seller. I mean, you're selling me a bag of goods, so to speak. I want to talk to the person that's going to be there, that's going to be responsible for some of these things after the fact. I would feel much better about that.
Okay.
And then also, I don't know if you saw the forecast, but within the next 7 days, we're going to have more snow.
Oh, no, I hadn't.
Probably ought to look at that.
As I understand, a petition can only be filed by the owner of the property. That's why I'm here representing the seller.
Okay, well, and when we're looking at future commitments, sometimes, you know, the purchaser, if they're going to have to follow through on that within 90 days.
We would have to do it before the sale can happen. The seller would have
Okay.
to do it. Because the lender won't okay it without.
Yeah, and, you know, I'm afraid to put it in to approve this, and then all of a sudden, we have a new purchaser, and the new purchaser's kind of not so nice of a landlord, and then we've approved something that is out of our control. It's nice knowing who you're selling your car to, if you can. Thank
I
you.
sell houses every day. You
Okay,
know?
thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from the council? Mr. Carroll?
I don't know if it's a question or if this muddies the water anymore, but if we're talking about putting a contingency provision in here and then a closing that's going to happen in no sooner than 2 weeks, does a delay other than, or, putting it on the next meeting, does that not do everything? And then maybe Mr. Benicki can talk to the purchaser. We can see evidence ourselves before we vote that here's a picture of the completed driveway. I don't see the benefit of doing the, rescission clause and all that if, it seems the same to me, so just a thought for the council.
Points well taken. Thank you, sir. Any additional questions for the presenter before we allow her to sit down since she's been at the podium for a while?
Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor? If you would, please come forward. Then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone with us this evening who wishes to speak in opposition? Please come forward. And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Are there any council members who wish to speak?
I'd just like,
Mr. Mammolenti.
Well, thank you. I'll defer to Mr. Emmons' question first.
I don't really have a question. I'd like some clarification of, are we going to allow this, or are we going to postpone it? What avenue are we're talking about? Where are we going?
At this point in time, it is ripe for a vote. There isn't a motion on the floor to postpone or embed a condition in it. I will tell you that from my perspective, my intent was to ask Mr. Prince to briefly chime in on this to see if he has any concerns about either path that we are considering here. But again, that's my intent, to ask Mr. Prince to share a few words with us. But right now, there is no motion to postpone that's on the floor.
Okay.
Does that clarify it for you, Mr. Emmons?
Yes, yes.
Mr. Mammolenti, anything?
I will defer to you addressing Mr. Prince.
Mr. Prince, if you would.
Good evening, Mr. President. Ken Prince, Director of Planning and Community Development.
Thank you, sir. With regard to the two options that I just referenced, embedding a condition of approval into the ordinance this evening being the first option versus postponing this matter until our next regularly scheduled council meeting to see if the situation can be resolved by the parking space being added. Do you have any thoughts upon which of the two is preferential, or perhaps another option?
And I never want to argue with attorneys, particularly on this council. My understanding in reviewing zoning is that the only way a condition can be added is through a voluntary commitment, that you can't place a condition. So just as terminology, but that's essentially what they are offering. And correct.
Yep.
Correct. So wording it that way, I feel very comfortable with a voluntary commitment, and that could be done this evening without question. The other thing I need to reference is the non-conforming situation. So this property can be legally operated as a duplex in perpetuity. We have many properties that do not meet the parking requirement. They can continue to be operated in perpetuity. The issue here is only the financing. And it is non-conforming in multiple respects. The setback, for example, is right on the property line. It actually encroaches. We're not asking them to tear down the house. We're not asking them to move it. But parking is sensitive for neighbors, and we although we didn't hear anything on this one in the neighborhood, which is part of the reason why the recommendation for approval, it does have 3 functional parking spaces. And I would actually offer, if the tenant continues to be disabled, not have a parking space, it would make sense if, once this conversion takes place, that they would continue to use it as a patio. In the future, when they would need a parking spot, they would use it as a parking spot. So that conversion makes perfect sense to me in that respect. But you have the ability to act on it without any parking requirement. Noting that if it did burn beyond 75% or tornado, that any new construction, they would have to meet the parking requirement. It has to meet the ordinance in every respect, and it would be very difficult on this property. So to me, it's kind of ridiculous the bank is requesting it, because they also haven't, you wouldn't physically be able to get it onto the property. I guess you could elevate it and do parking below it, and there would be some way to do that. It's just, from a financing standpoint, previously, they did it through non-conforming, and they were comfortable with that. It's now just that 75% damage that the bank is trying to address, which I understand that from a perspective, you want to protect yourself. I'm just not sure how valid it is.
And again, I agree with you with regard to the non-conforming status, but I still maintain that when we have these opportunities to try to deal with the situation that's right in front of us, it behooves us to
We
try to
appreciate the
engender
support,
compliance.
Mr. President, we do.
But your point's well taken. There are any number of similar situations throughout the city. This is just the one that's in front of us and on
Right.
the
Understood.
on the agenda this evening. Any additional questions for Mr. Prince?
Mr. President, sorry.
Mr. Mamalenti?
So just, could you reiterate the fact that you said if it doesn't pass this evening, that it could operate as a duplex in perpetuity?
Yes.
Is that what you said? Okay. All right, thank you.
One follow-up, and I believe that you mentioned this, the caveat is that there are some limited situations that cause a property that enjoys legal non-conforming status to lose that that
Correct, and
status.
it's damaged
you
beyond
referenced it if it's
75% of the
destroyed.
value. So yes, that's the caveat, Mr. Mamaleni,
All right.
is if a tornado would hit and it was damaged beyond 75% of the value, so $120-some thousand of damage, it would lose that non-conforming status.
Makes sense. Thank you.
Thank you. Other questions for Mr. Prince? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And we are back to questions and comments from the council. Mr. Carroll?
Just for clarification, if, for whatever, Winter does not cooperate, and after the 90 days this is not done, what happens to this? I mean, it just stays in the same status, but does that penalize the buyer and seller for 6 months or whatever that is, since it would fail?
Mr. Triple, you want to weigh in on that?
When was this heard by the plan? When was this petition heard by the plan commission? December 9th. You have 90 days from that date to act. If you did nothing, it's not going to pass because they didn't give a recommendation. But you have 90 days from that date.
So I guess if we do make the decision with the rescission clause in it, and the rescission clause has to be exercised because the weather does not cooperate, are they penalized from requesting again for a certain period of time?
Pursuant to our,
No, I'm sorry, they're talking about the rescission clause. We can handle that. That wouldn't be subject to the 1 year.
I just want to make sure there wasn't an additional risk in the rescission clause versus a postponement.
I would agree. Mr. Mamalenti?
Thank you. I think with the contingency in place, with the fact that it's a local buyer, that would provide, with the contingency in place, would provide the city with the protection. I personally feel comfortable and confident moving forward, but I am also willing to respect the wishes if any of my colleagues would like to make a motion to postpone it. So with that being said, I will end my statement.
Thank you, sir. Any additional questions or comments? Then hearing none, I will call for the question. Madam Clerk? Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. Hazen?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Ms. Hahn?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Violi?
Yes.
Mr. Hixenbaugh?
No.
Proposed ordinance passes 8-1. Proposed ordinance number 2025-47, an ordinance amending Chapter 137 of the Municipal Code of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, as from time to time amended, commonly known as the zoning ordinance of 1966 of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana. This is to rezone from C4 automobile-oriented to R1 single-family residential district to match existing use at 2106 North Burkett.
Thank you. May we have the committee report, please?
Yes, Mr. President, to the members of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, your Committee on Land Use Planning, to whom was referred the matter of proposed ordinance number 2025-47, report that they have examined said matter and that in their opinion should be adopted. This is signed by all members present, and I move for its acceptance.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to approve the committee report. Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. With that, we will move into second reading and public hearing on proposed ordinance 2025-47. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, please come forward.
Hello, I am the current owner of the property, and my initial issue that I ran into was
Sir, if you could, please start out with your name and address for the record.
oh, sorry, my name is Joseph Franks, and the address is 2106 North Burkett.
Thank you.
Yes.
Please continue.
So the initial issue I ran into was the lender saw the appraisal report that said the property could not be rebuilt unless it was rezoned, and I want to ensure that in case of an accident or, a mishap, that the property should be able to be covered by insurance to get rebuilt. And if I ever want to do something like a fence or anything down the road, that I'd be within proper zoning procedures. That's all I have.
All right. Thank you. Any questions from the council? Mr. Carroll.
Just because we had this last time, have you been informed that anything on your property doesn't conform that needs to be changed?
No.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Any additional questions? Well, thank you, sir. I bet you wish that you would have been first on the agenda this evening, don't you?
Absolutely.
Well, we appreciate the information nevertheless. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor? If you would, please come forward. Take your seat. Then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone with us this evening who wishes to speak in opposition? Please come forward. And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Are there any council members who wish to speak? If not, then I call for the question.
Question.
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. Hazen?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Ms. Hahn?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Violi?
Yes.
Mr. Hixenbaugh?
Yes.
Proposed ordinance passes 9-0. Proposed ordinance number 2025-48, an ordinance amending Chapter 137 of the Municipal Code of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana, as from time to time amended, commonly known as the zoning ordinance of 1966 of the City of Mishawaka, Indiana. This is to rezone from C1 General Commercial to I1 Light Industrial to expand business at 1825 East 12th Street.
Thank you. May we have the committee report, please?
Mr. President, to the members of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, your Committee on Land Use Planning, to whom was referred the matter of proposed ordinance 2025-48, report that they have examined said matter and that their opinion should be adopted. This is signed by all members present, and I move for its acceptance.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to approve the committee report. Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. With that, we will move into second reading and public hearing on proposed ordinance 2025-48. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, please come forward.
Good evening. Chris Godlewski, Abbenmarsh, 315 West Jefferson Boulevard, South Bend, Indiana. I represent the client, D.A. Dodd. From the brief reading, this is a rezoning to C to I to better fit the use that's been there a while. It's an expanding business, and on the 7.5 acres, there's 3 parcels. In the middle parcel, they want to expand and build a new building. Again, they're expanding their business. So if this rezoning got approved, they would go through the plating process to combine all the parcels into one, the site plan review to have an engineered plan to represent buffering, parking, internal circulation, and so forth. Some of the adjoining properties are zoned industrial to the northwest and north. It's kind of a developing commercial and industrial area right just west of Capitol. I know initially the staff report was positive, and this received a positive recommendation from the Plan Commission. I can answer any questions you have and hope you approve it tonight.
Thank you. Any questions from the council? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor? If so, please come forward. And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone with us this evening who wishes to speak in opposition? Please come forward. And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Are there any council members who wish to speak? If not, then I call for the question.
Question.
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. Hazen?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Ms. Hahn?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Violi?
Yes.
Mr. Hicksonbaugh?
Yes.
Proposed ordinance passes 9-0. Proposed ordinance number 2025-49, an ordinance to establish 120 North Race Street as a local historic landmark within the city of Mishawaka, Indiana. The petitioner is requesting this be postponed until the next meeting.
Mr. Mamalenti?
I would like to make a motion to honor the request of postponement to our next
Second.
meeting.
Second?
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to postpone second reading and public hearing on proposed ordinance 2025-49 until our next regularly scheduled council meeting. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Then hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Thank you. The ayes have it, so the matter will be postponed until our next regularly scheduled meeting. And with that, we will move into privilege of the floor. At this time, members of the public are invited to the podium to speak with respect to non-agenda items only under privilege of the floor.
Hello, Felicia Seals Buchanan, 6705 Lutz Drive, South Bend, Indiana. I am the Executive Director of the Mishawaka Business Association, and I'm just here to invite the public and leadership to our annual meeting on Friday at 8:30 a.m. at the Patel Center. Everyone is welcome.
Thank you. We appreciate that. Is there anyone else with us this evening who wishes to speak under privilege of the floor? Seeing no one, is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak under privilege of the floor? Hearing no one, with that, we will move into unfinished business.
We have proposed ordinance number 2025-44, an ordinance of the Common Council for the City of Mishawaka establishing a merit system for the Mishawaka Police Department, and this amendment has been requested.
Thank you. At this time, the chair would entertain a motion to delete proposed ordinance 2025-44 in its entirety and substitute in an amended ordinance that has been distributed to the council.
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. Motion has been made and seconded to delete proposed ordinance 2025-44 in its entirety and substitute in an amended ordinance as has been distributed. Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The ordinance is amended. And with that, may we have the committee report, please?
Yes, Mr. President, to the members of the Common Council of the City of Mishawaka, your Committee on Public Health and Safety, to whom was referred the matter of proposed ordinance 2025-44, report that they have examined said matter and that their opinion should be adopted. This is signed by the entire committee, and I move for its acceptance.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to approve the committee report. Any additional questions or comments? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. With that, we will open second reading and public hearing on proposed ordinance 2025-44 as amended. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, if you would, please come forward to the podium and begin by stating your name and address for the record.
Mr. President, council members, Dave Wood, Mayor, here tonight to, first of all, like to share that the system we have had for decades and decades, we think has worked perfectly well. And that's thanks to the commitment, the dedication of the Mishawaka, it's our Board of Public Works and Safety, who deals with decisions on hiring, discipline, and promotion. And we know that, at least in my term and on council and even before, that these dedicated officials are very efficient at what they do. They're committed to doing the right thing, and they have just a great track record of serving Mishawaka's public and making important decisions for the police department at a high level. And so with that said, though, we know that the Mishawaka FOP has taken a vote, and their vote is to essentially have the public, the Mishawaka public, be more involved in our decision-making process, and we fully support that at the administration. We understand that that vote passed. Maybe there needs to be another vote, based on timing, but we stand fully supportive of the FOP decision and are committed to making sure that this new board, if it does come to pass, has all of the tools that it will need from the administration to do its job. First of all, we'll offer up our facilities for this. It's important to note that this is an autonomous board, not run by the council, not run by the FOP, not run by the administration. So they will make their own decisions, and they will provide their own, minutes, and they will provide their own leadership. This is a public board. It requires 5 public appointees. I already have commitments for 2 of mine that I am, as far as the administration has to provide. I have commitments to provide those 2 already. We will, like I said, make sure that if a facility is requested, that we will honor that request. That would include, these are public meetings, much like these are, the assistance of our IT department to make sure that they are fully compliant with public law, which also means that they will be web meetings and televised to the public. So with that also, we are committed to making sure that we are following to the best that we can the efficiency that we have always had in hiring. Now, this board would ultimately be the official board to hire our officers. We have always taken pride in making sure that that happens very efficiently. We pick only the best for the incidents you've seen over the past couple of weeks. We thank God, but we also thank our Mishawaka Police Department, their training and their equipment, because we had great officers who did an outstanding job stepping up in response to those circumstances. And we remain committed to making sure that's the case, and it starts by picking the very best that we can find. When it comes to promotion, we have been working over the course of the past year to develop more of a merit-based system in partnership with the FOP. But this would supersede that as far as a new merit board. And as far as discipline, we have been very committed to making sure that it's done in a transparent way, but we will make sure that we are extra transparent when it comes to dealing with a public board on discipline matters, so that this board can make their decisions. We do have a couple of concerns, and that might be the amount of time that it might take to make decisions. We've seen from other communities that these decisions can stall out pending quorums and people's times to meet. Again, these are mostly volunteers, members of the community. We're relying on them to come to a public meeting to make decisions. Our Board of Public Works meets weekly. You can set your clock by it. And so that's why we can be as efficient as we can be. And so we would encourage this board to take that same level of commitment and seriousness in performing their public duties if it comes to pass. And so, again, we will do our part to make sure that this is a success. We always think that inviting the Mishawaka public in on our, in our governing of the Princess City is a good thing. And so we stand in support of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions for Mayor Wood? Thank you, sir. Is there anyone else wishing to speak in favor? If you would, please come forward to the podium. Then is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in favor? Is there anyone with us this evening who wishes to speak in opposition? Please come forward. And is there anyone participating remotely who wishes to speak in opposition? Are there any council members who wish to speak? I appreciate Mayor Wood's comments, and I agree with what he had to say. From my perspective, if in fact we pass this ordinance, it's not an indication of any conclusion having been drawn on my part, or I believe on any other member of the council's part, that there is anything inherently wrong with our system that we have in place today, both with regard to hiring, promotions, and the operation of the police department. As I mentioned earlier, I'm very proud of the police department, our police department, and the service that we provide to the public. But I do respect the voice of the FOP. And I think it's important to note for the record that, as Mayor Wood referenced, this is the initiation of a process. If in fact the council approves this ordinance this evening, then that sets the stage for the FOP to have to cast a more formalized vote that would require the approval of a majority of our sworn officers. So 50% plus one of our officers would have to approve this for the next step to take place. As Mayor Wood indicated, this is not a process that is new to Indiana or unique to Mishawaka. There have long been merit boards that have been in place throughout the state. One local example, actually we have examples on both sides of us, in Elkhart, as well as in the St. Joseph County Police Department. So I think that this does provide that opportunity for there to be the continuation of an appropriate process, but also to have a different element of collaboration, since there would be in the on the five-member board, 2 appointees by the mayor, as Mayor Wood referenced, 2 appointees by the FOP, and an appointment by the council, so that all of the entities that have traditionally worked together with regard to the operation of our police department will be able to continue to work together, just in the form of those appointees to the Merit Commission. Finally, I would say that we have a local precedent here. Last year, right around this time, we passed a similar ordinance for the fire department. And that ordinance, when it was taken to a vote of the body, did not generate a 50% plus one approval. So that outcome is allowable under the statute, and we have our own historical precedents here. But I would also say that from my perspective, the ordinance says that if we approve this, if the FOP approves this, and if in fact the Merit Commission comes to fruition, then we need to revisit this. The council needs to revisit this in calendar year 2029. So we'd have an opportunity to revisit it and decide at that point in time whether this continues to make sense for Mishawaka. But I think long before 2029, if in fact all the appropriate approvals come to pass, that I think we'll be able to identify whether or not this truly meets the interests of Mishawaka, and to the extent that it doesn't, I stand committed to revisiting that even before 2029. So again, I am in favor of this, and we'll be voting accordingly this evening. Thank you. Are there any additional questions or comments? And hearing none, I will call for the question.
Question.
Madam Clerk, would you please poll the council?
Mrs. Hazen?
Yes.
Mrs. Volker?
Yes.
Mr. Carroll?
Yes.
Mr. Benicki?
Yes.
Mr. Emmons?
Yes.
Ms. Hahn?
Yes.
Mr. Mamalenti?
Yes.
Mr. Violi?
Yes.
Mr. Hixenbaugh?
Yes.
Proposed ordinance passes 9-0.
New business. At this time, we have the obligation to reorganize ourselves for the coming year. And a list has been distributed by the clerk's office to the council with regard to various council committees and our appointments to various boards, including our council attorney. So at this time, the chair would entertain a motion to approve our council committee assignments and various appointments pursuant to the list that has been distributed by the clerk's office.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to approve our council committee assignments and various appointments pursuant to the information that has been provided to the council. Any additional questions or comments? Then hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. The matter passes unanimously in the opinion of the chair. One other item of business, we also need to acknowledge and accept conflict of interest forms on behalf of various council members. And at this time, I'll ask the clerk to read into the record the names of the council members who have submitted conflict of interest forms.
Woody Emmons, Matt Carroll, Luann Hazen, Tony Violi, Greg Hicksonbaugh, and Matt Mamalenti.
Thank you. At this time, the chair would entertain a motion to accept the conflict of interest forms for the council members who were identified by the clerk.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to accept the conflict of interest forms on behalf of various council members. Any additional questions or comments from the council? Then hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. And last but not least, we also need to consider various changes in our regular meeting date schedule for 2026 due to various holidays and other conflicts. So at this time, I'll ask the clerk to read into the record the specific dates that are being proposed.
January 19th meeting changed to January 26th. April 6th meeting changed to April 13th. September 7th changed to September 14th. November 2nd changed to November 9th.
Thank you. At this time, the chair would entertain a motion to change our regular meeting dates pursuant to the list that we've received as read by the clerk.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. A motion has been made and seconded to change our regular schedule of council meetings pursuant to the list that has been distributed to the council. Any additional questions or comments? Then hearing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. In the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, so the meetings will be changed accordingly, and we will work with the administration to have those meeting date changes publicized on the city website as well. And with that, is there any other new business to come before the council? Mr. Emmons.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd just like to inform the public that the First District monthly meeting on December 15th, we held at St. Babel's Church, and our speaker for that meeting will be the Mishawaka City Postmaster, and it's a she, will be there to kind of update different procedures that are being incorporated into the postal system, pricing on stamps, when that's going to go in effect, prices in effect goes for packages and that. So she's a very informative person, she's very dynamic, and so it should be an interesting meeting. So I invite everybody to come at St. Babel's, and as usual, Mr. Mamaleni will provide donuts and refreshments at that meeting. So we always thank Mr. Mamaleni for his contribution. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, Mr. Mamaleni, as well. Mr. Emmons, what was the date of your meeting? I'm
The
sorry.
15th.
January 15th?
Yes, Thursday, third Thursday.
Thank you. Is there any other new business to come before the council? Mr. Carroll.
Thank you, Mr. President. Like Mr. Emmons, the second district meeting is also coming up this Thursday, January 8th at 7 p.m. at the Blair Hills Pool Complex, and the speaker to be determined.
Thank you, sir. Any donuts from Mr. Mamaleni at your meeting?
If they're being given out, might as well just jump on.
Thank you. Mr. Mamalenti.
Might as well follow suit. The Twin Branch Neighborhood Watch meeting will take place January 21st at 7 PM at Fire Station Number 4. At this point, our guest speaker is a representative from Crime Stoppers to explain and describe some of the things that they do on a daily basis and how they protect and help the public. I'll have more details to announce at our next meeting.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Any other new business? Then hearing none, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
So moved.
We are adjourned. Happy New Year, everyone. Thank you.